Here are 5 things I learned in 2022. The first thing was consistency. I have always struggled to be consistent. Sometimes I'm interested in something I started, and within a few weeks down the line, I lose interest in it, or I can no longer be consistent. I try and I just can't. But this year, I've been able to be consistent in certain areas of my life. Actually, not everywhere, because I wanted to work out and I just struggled so much, and I gave up at some point in time. But I realized that the secret to being consistent is to be consistent. Does that make sense to you? The secret to doing something is actually doing it. That was what just opened up everything to me. You cannot be consistent if you don't be consistent. And so I had to be intentional about it. So let's say for my YouTube channel, I started it a few months ago, and I have been consistent. And that was just the whole mindset. The secret to being consistent is to be consistent. So I kept showing up. Sometimes I didn't feel like recording a YouTube video. Sometimes I was feeling lazy about it, but I kept showing up. And that's the whole thing about this consistency thing. There's no mystery behind being consistent. It's just to show up sometimes, whether you like it or not. And I also think that motivation counts sometimes. So you look at yourself and you have to find motivation and inner motivation for yourself. Why am I working on this thing? Why do I want this thing to work out? If your why is very strong, then you will show up consistent. And I have always said that. Now I put it at the back of my mind that I keep showing up consistently, and this thing works out for me based on what I have visioned for it to be, or I become lazy and procrastinate about it, and a few years down the line I might procrastinate about it and regret it, and I'll beat myself over it. So the secret to being consistent is to be consistent. That is the first thing I learned in 2022. The second thing I learned in 2022 was to rest. I learned how to rest this year, and I learned that you rest not because you are tired, but because you need it. There were times where I am really overwhelmed, and it's like I have so many things that I have to do, and I'm juggling through a lot, and I just leave everything and go and sleep, or I leave it to go and watch a movie or read a book, or just do something that is relaxing for me. And I saw that it was really good for you, and so that is one of the important things. And I learned that if you do not rest when you actually need it, or if you do not take times to rest as a person, then your body will force you to rest. So in the coming year, learn to rest is very, very important. And even learning to rest can help you to be more productive. That's what people usually don't know. But if you rest and you have a calm and a peaceful mind, then you can go about to do your work efficiently and effectively. The third thing I learned this year was actually learning to enjoy what I do. And I think this can be tied to the first point on consistency. I realized that if you actually enjoy what you do, then you will be consistent about it. And also, if you enjoy what you do, you will keep doing it. There are certain things I do and I enjoy them so much that I don't see them as work. And I do them and I get lost in time because of how much I enjoy it. So I learned that even if you have work that you actually don't like, find a way to make it enjoyable, and you actually do it without feeling all the weight and all the heaviness about work. And so learning to find joy in my work has helped me so much this year, and it helped to make work a bit interesting. The fourth thing I learned this year was being intentional about my personal development, and this has been such an interesting journey. I intentionally focused on reading a lot of self-help books. So over the years, I have always read, and I read a lot of books, but most of the books were usually fiction, like stories, novels, just to enjoy a good story, just for entertainment purposes, though I learned a thing or two. But this year I was very intentional on reading a lot of self-help books across different areas, mostly on personal finance. You realize that most of my videos are talking about money and all that, because I read a lot of I read a lot of books on personal finance, and I read books on habits, how to develop the right habits, on productivity, on deep work, so many other things that I have been intentional on developing as a person. And I subscribe to a lot of podcasts that I listen to daily. I subscribe to a lot of newsletters from across the world, from different people across the world. I subscribe to some online courses that I was just trying to become better and learn, and I think it has been one of the greatest things I have done for myself as a person in 2022. So you should try that for yourself as well. Be intentional about growing as a person. Be intentional about learning the right skills and making yourself better. Number 5, learning that the pain of rejection is better than the pain of regret. Let me explain. So there are certain things on a normal day I would have been fearful about. I want to do them, but there's just so much fear around it. But this year I learned to let go of my fear and actually go out and do certain things. And I had to sit down and talk to myself that it is better to actually go out, do it and fail, or even be rejected, and know that I tried and this thing didn't work, rather than just not doing it. And I know myself as a person that if I don't do it later in life, I'm going to regret it so much. And so the pain of rejection is always better than the pain of regret, because I'll be living with what if. So what if I had done it? Maybe this thing would have worked out, but I didn't do it, and I'll keep beating myself as the years go down. So I had to let go of certain types of fear just to go out and pursue certain things I want to pursue. And if I fail, I know I tried, I know I did my best, and it didn't work out. So always know that the pain of rejection is always better than the pain of regrets. And this is one of the important things I have learned that has impacted my life in such a big way, and that is learning to trust God. This year has been a lot. Like, there have been so many times I have been overwhelmed and I don't know what to do, but having God has been one of the best things that has happened to me within the year. So much has happened. Even look at from the outside, we came out of COVID and we thought this was a year we could all relax and at least just enjoy life some more, and economic things started happening, inflation everywhere, recession, and so many things, and things were hard. But having to learn to trust God and to depend on God, that knowing that there's somebody out there fighting for you and there's somebody you can always lean on, has been one of the best things that has happened to me. And so I'm always grateful that I have God and I know God is the best thing that happened to me. Feel free to share the things you have learned this year, and maybe I'll also implement them as we enter into 2023. My name is Truus. Please subscribe to the channel and let's grow. Smash the like button, leave a comment, share this video with your friends, and tell other people about Truly Truus. Until I see you in my next video, stay safe and bye bye.